Hey, everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to the NBA Finals. This is not a shock. This is not a surprise. They were predicted to go to the NBA Finals. Minnesota quit. I'm recording this actually right before the Game 5 between the Pacers and the Knicks. But there's a reason for this because there's been this narrative since about February, since the Luka Doncic trade was made to send him from the Mavs to the Lakers. It turned out really bad. But there was a direction here. And, there was a direction with this trade. But can we officially pronounce that even though the Clippers are still good, trading Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George is one of the worst trades in NBA history? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, at worst right now, the second or third best player in the NBA. I probably would still say Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the league. But SGA won the MVP this year. He's the best player in the NBA in 2024, 2025. He's probably going to win an NBA championship this year. I'd be stunned if the Thunder do not win the NBA title this year. They're just head and shoulders above everybody else. I do think Indiana could potentially make it a little bit interesting. But if the Knicks somehow come back, I think the Knicks might get swept or lose in 5 games. It's not like Oklahoma City, much like Boston last year, is just head and shoulders above the rest of the NBA. And the more that I watch them, the less optimistic I would have been if the Cleveland Cavaliers would have gotten through and ultimately faced them in the NBA Finals. This is just a better basketball team. But back to this trade. So if you guys remember, in 2019, I remember this. Actually, I was living, I fell asleep. I was living on the East Coast, and I woke up the next morning. Apparently, there was an earthquake in Los Angeles, and then Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both ended up being on the Clippers. And the trade that happened was seismic. Clippers get Paul George. They basically, got 4 or 5 years out of him, and then he ultimately leaves and goes to the Philadelphia 76ers, where it's not gone well there too, and they're already thinking about trading him. But the Thunder get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They get Danilo Gallinari, who didn't end up playing for them. They get unprotected first rounder from Miami in 21. Ended up being Trey Mann. I don't even know if Trey Mann's still on the team. They get the Clippers unprotected 2022 unprotected. So I'm saying unprotected a lot. 2022 first round pick, which ended up being the 12th overall pick. You guys know who the 12th overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft was? Jalen Williams, J-Dub, who is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Great job there. You just gave 2 starters on potentially an NBA championship team. Pick swap in 2023 didn't get conveyed. 2024 unprotected first round pick from the Clippers. So I don't remember who exactly that was. I'm reading an old article here. 2025 protected first rounder 1 through 14 from Miami. It would be unprotected in 26. They get a pick swap with the Clippers in 25 and then an unprotected in 2026. So this trade still isn't even done. And the Clippers have gave away maybe the second best player in the NBA for 4 or 5 years of Paul George, which netted them 1 conference finals appearance. 1. They flamed out in the bubble, and, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been healthy. So for Steve Ballmer and for everybody over there, and I like Tyronn Lue a ton. He helped the Cavs win a championship in 2016. Ty Lue is really the only thing holding this Clippers thing together, because some of that roster, how the Clippers ended up being the 5 seed in the NBA in the NBA's Western Conference this year, is beyond me. They got James Harden, but they got Denver to a Game 7. But trading away SGA to get 4 or 5, and obviously some of this you can't predict. But can we fully pronounce, because I know a lot of people are already making proclamations about the Luka trade, which is dumb because they didn't get value for it. But considering what the Clippers were trying to do, and I don't think the Clippers are ever going to win a championship, and obviously their goal in trading SGA away, and obviously he developed, was in mind in winning a championship. They got nothing. They got a conference finals bid out of it. And hey, Kawhi Leonard, he controlled the whole thing. He wanted to star. The Clippers got desperate. They've got a new arena out of it. Cool. And Steve Ballmer's not going to really give a shit about this in the grand scheme of things because, hey, they're going to make a ton of money. The value of the franchise has gone up. But man, if I'm a Clippers fan and I'm watching the Thunder year after year and seeing SGA consistently elevating his game and turning into one of the top like I said, at worst, he's probably the second or third best player in the NBA right now. At worst, I would still probably take Jokic over him because there are just things that Nikola Jokic can do that nobody else in the NBA can do. The guy's a 7-footer who has a handle like a point guard. It's unbelievable what he can do. But SGA is listen. I know we can go debate at length about the flopping and like the free throw merchant shit. He's still one of the great players in the league, and the Clippers gave up on him after only having him for a season, trading him away because hey, we want Paul George on our team. We want to win the championships, and they got nothing out of it. They got nothing out of it because now Paul George is on another team. He left. I give credit to Ty Lue for, kind of molding this thing together even and to make this look somewhat presentable. Because if he wasn't there, this trade would look a whole hell of a lot worse because the Clippers could be giving away like high lottery picks potentially. And there still means that they could potentially give away a high lottery pick if they don't figure this out and keep themselves in contention. They've been really lucky that they've been able that Kawhi Leonard went through the season healthy. Norman Powell really turned into a really nice piece, and James Harden can still play, but this isn't going to win you championships. And SGA, you had him in your organization, you drafted him, and you gave him away. It's just, I don't think a lot of people have really understood how bad of a trade this was. It's one of the worst trades in NBA history. And everybody's been so fixated on the element. And let's be real, Luka still may not even re-sign with the Lakers. There's defensive problems there. Dallas, yes, I think I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people are frustrated about Luka being traded away is because he was so young, had just taken the Mavs to the NBA Finals, and the global aspect of him being like one of the more recognizable stars from a global perspective in the NBA. SGA is a little bit different because he's not necessarily the flashiest guy in the world, but he's the MVP of the NBA. And he's about to lead Oklahoma City to their first NBA championship, provided that, something crazy doesn't happen. And like I said, I'm not completely ruling out Indiana potentially beating them in the finals because I think Indiana matches up pretty well with them. But Oklahoma City is just a better basketball team. I mean, they won 68 games during the regular season. They were one of the most historically great basketball teams from an offensive and defensive perspective in the NBA. The only team that's beating Oklahoma City this year is Oklahoma City and their youth. So if they're able to meet the moment like they did against Denver, coming back in that series, and then meeting the moment against Minnesota and just absolutely hammering them, I don't see anybody beating this team. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.